As you all know, it's only 2 days left until Rise of the Beast will release in theaters. Which, by given the overall rating, yeah, I kinda expected that. But to be fair, it's better than rating the fucking other Michael Bay Transformers movies. So right now we're gonna take a look at the Transformers Rise of the Beast Studio Series 99 and 101, Voyager Class Battletrap, and Leader Class Scourge, aka the Kinky Team, or the BDS team. Hey, it's not my fault they're covered in chains. But before that, we're gonna take a look at the packaging. Here we have a nice CGI render of Battletrap, and it looks like he has a Decepticons insignia. What? But isn't he supposed to be, you know, well, he ain't gonna survive. Yeah, seems about right. I know this is plastic-free packaging, but without plastic, it's still gonna fucking throw in the ocean. So in a way, it's kind of useless. It's still gonna be thrown in the goddamn ocean. So what's the goddamn point? Now, Scourge packaging is much better because at least we got a full artwork of Scourge and his blazing hot, fiery look on his body, and so many tattoos. Only a face a mother could love. Where the hell is that paint on the goddamn blade? Yeah, as well, it's... seems about right. My autism is on the other hand. And here's the backdrop that Scourge comes with. Well, let's be fair, both Battletrap and Scourge literally have the same backdrop, and let's be honest, nobody's gonna care about the goddamn backdrops. But they do look cool. But first things first, we're gonna take a look at before we're gonna, take a look at Battletrap, make sure that you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You have no other choice. And also support me on Patreon. Do it! But if you don't know who, these Terrorcons are, well, the movie hasn't come out yet. Well, for some at least. All I know is that they're working for Unicron. Sadly, no awesome wheels. But let's take a look at Battletrap, and he do look kind of Gundam-ish, and almost looking like he's blushing. Thanks to that YouTuber for pretty much acknowledging it, and now I cannot unsee it. I mean, let's be fair, they heads do look kind of like Gundam-ish, and don't ask me why this guy's horn is, pretty much broken. Let's just say this is kind of intentional. But I do gotta say that the overall painting and sculpting of this Studio Series figures is actually pretty damn awesome. Well, I do wish there were a little bit more paint, but I can accept it. I mean, less paint means less paint shipping. But there's also areas that I do wish it has more layers, because you can tell that there are some off-coloring with the orange. Especially this is pretty much just one thick layer of orange paint against the regular orange plastic. I mean, let's be honest, orange and yellow is hard. It's paint that is really hard to pretty much do perfect, and says the guy who actually knows about it. What did I say? All I'm saying is that Dr. Lockdown can actually agree with me. Orange and yellow is two paints that are hard to paint. Are pretty difficult colors to pretty much put on their figures, since you literally need to have multiple layers just to have the colors right. But either way, all the other designs and sculpting do look pretty cool, and I don't know why these, this kind of Mad Max kind of looking design is on the front grille, even though they are not on the vehicle mode, or the kind of design choice. But I do like the spikes here, and I do wish there were a little bit of orange paint. I don't know, is it just me? But I can literally fix the paint off myself. It's no big of a deal. It still looks nice. And the back, it kind of don't know if it's accurate in the film. I haven't seen it yet, but in 2 days I will. But I do kind of say that it do look pretty good. And of course we have the headlights, or taillights, whatever you want to name them. I'm not American and Swedish. They just rest there, but you can literally angle them whatever you want, and I just want to rest them there because they do look pretty good. But the legs are my favorite. Now, one kind of critique I have with the overall figure is the kibble on the sides, which is a bit of a shame, but it is, you can literally angle them like so, or just like angle them like so, or you can literally twist them around to have this kind of, It did promote that you can literally have these ones as weapon. Don't ask me why, but it is what it is. I do have one critique with this figure, is that while there are some joints that are really tight and such, although this one do pop out real easily, but it's no big of a deal. It does pop back on real easily, I mean tap in. However, these back section do untap way too easily because the whole it's secured by transparent plastic. Why, Hasbro? I mean, for one thing, I do want to say kudos to Hasbro to literally have the translucent plastic and the actual plastic separated, which they do not literally paint it over the transparent plastic, which I would say that is actually a good thing. But a good thing does not execute well when you literally have the overall, well, hinge system being transparent. And as you all can see, it already seems like it looks like a crack there. This hinge will not last long. Oh yeah, I also had to literally super glue the overall slot system, because beforehand it was really loose, but now it's secured a little bit well. It also comes with a mace, which actually looks well detailed, and I do love how it looks. No change though, unfortunate. But just like Legacy Iron bulkhead, you can literally flip up the slot here, and of course you can literally slot inside of the hand, which you need to shove it in a little further to tap it in even more, because everyone has it a little bit, well, not that closed in properly, but for me, I just shoved it in and now it secures a little bit better. And he kind of looks like he's gonna wreck fucking Autobots. Or if you want to be a little bit more creative, you can literally tap it together, flip around this hook, and then you slot it in with this tab, just like so, and now you literally have the mace swinging. Although no chains, it still looks good. It's an option. There is one way you can literally store the mace here, but I do not recommend that you literally store it just like regularly so, because when you try to do that, you just stretch the transparent plastic and it doesn't secure properly and it just folds up easily. So I recommend that you literally flip out the lights here, just like so, and then you take the mace, just turn it around, and then clip onto the back from the transparent plastic slot that is quite fragile. But when you have it secured, easier said than done. Hold on. Now you have it tapped in, but I still do not recommend storing the mace on the back. But you can still plug it in like so. Still do not recommend putting the mace on the back. As for articulation, his head is on a board jump, which he can look up at that far and down that far, side to side, all that sort of stuff. These lights do not tap in it, so they move. You can literally rotate them how you want. And then he has the shoulders, which are in the 360 degrees, which I'd also want to mention that these are not on. These can also move out as a butterfly joint, but they don't. So that's a actual articulation, which I do see some reviews saying that these are very well untapped real easy. But for my copy, I think they kind of fixed it a little bit, because you had to unhinge just to move even further. But I think some copies had a little bit of having some quality control issues. But for my copy, it stays fine. But as always, he can move 360 degrees. His shoulders can move out 90 degrees. And of course, when you move it outward and move back down, the shoulder panels do not fold back up. So when you move the arms up, the shoulder panels literally moves with it. A big bummer, but it's not big of a deal. You can literally move it however you want. However, there's just slight 90 degrees of elbow, and of course these rotate, sort of. And of course there's no wrist swivel, bit of a shame, but I understand. And of course you have waist swivel, which is a bit loose but not too loose. And I do love the feature. Okay, now we'll stop. Of course you can kick up that far, and of course without, you can move up this panel a little bit upward, which I do need to be careful. Hold on. Okay. And he can kick up that far. And of course, you do have a beautiful spray. Sorry, I have a jobby cringe humor. Either way, he do have a more of a 90 degree of bend, which is literally over 90 degrees. And of course, these calves move outward, but that's more for the transformation. And of course, he has a pivot down, with feet down, and a super pivot. Also, I do like the piston details. Do love the mechanical details. So for the overall articulation of Battletrap, it's actually pretty standard, but also very impressive. But for this kind of questionable Terrorcon that was originally Decepticon, but changed factions? Huh. Either way, Scourge. Now for something that's literally a concept design, which is not... which isn't common, isn't rare, it's pretty common. Studio Series Bumblebee Optimus Prime says hello. And so does Overload, Hightower, and Scrap Metal. Also, to be honest, for those who are actually gonna say, for those that are literally fanboys of the Revenge of the Fallen, is gonna say, actually, don't try to at me. You know that scene where the Constructicons trying to get down to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean and try to resurrect Megatron is literally a continuity error. You can see in the scenes they are literally mixed matched. One having literally scrapper, while the other has scrap metal. It's just a huge error. Deal with it. So for those who cries over that scrap metal isn't accurate, well, give up. They're not gonna make an accurate scrap metal. It's not gonna happen. But either way, the overall design of this version of Scourge is absolutely badass looking. I do love it. I mean, he's so damn Mad Max mixed with kinkiness. Don't ask. But it do look pretty great. But it ain't perfect. For you see, when you're trying to move the neck, this pops up very easily, which is unfortunate. But you just pop it back on. But I think it's due to the overall plastic that's inside, and it kind of hinder the articulation. But if you move it a little bit further, you can have it do the shaking movement. But yeah, I do recommend not to hinge forward the neck area. But other than that, the overall, and of course there's some paints missing, which I will paint it myself later on. It's no big of a deal. But I do want to say, and of course, I do love the silver hair, but wow, lazy. Either way, I do appreciate the, of course, the kind of looking battle damage. I got the siege disease. But I do also love the overall trailer hitch being separated, and of course one of them literally is chained. And of course the legs, while spindly in this area, do look kind of actually looking pretty good. And of course the Game Shop gray, which is a bit unfortunate, but I will paint it myself later on. But it do look pretty damn badass looking. And of course, having one hand being a giant claw, which is pretty inspired by the Revenge of the Fallen Megatron, which I do appreciate. And the other hand is actually pretty normal, but the only flaw I really have with this figure is that I do wish both of them had wrist swivels, because I do get that this is supposed to have a feature, which I will bring up, is that when you bring up the hand and actually bring this, well, wrist weapon, which absolutely looks, well, very good detailed, and it actually is a bit of a soft ratchet. You can bring it up and clip it on, and now it looks like he's holding the knife. It is absolutely badass looking. But I do wish they actually literally designed a wrist swivel for this one. Again, I guess that they want to do this feature, which I do think is a bit clever, but at the end of the day, when it's just standard, it just sits there. It's just, you're just holding it. It just looks goofy. But if you want to not have this weapon while holding it, you can literally have it like so, and it actually looks a little bit better. And of course, right now you can also remove it by choice, but it is also kind of risky. I only leave it to the professionals. But let's just take a look at the overall detail. It do look mechanical and kind of scrappy and rusted and cracked, and it does look amazing. I do appreciate that. And of course, we're just gonna leave his kind of weapon hand looking like so, because this is what he literally appeared in the film as far as I know. But yeah, the hand detail looks nice, and he does have finger articulation. And of course, let's just put this back on real easy. And yeah, he also have, well, back kibble, but as far as I know, I don't mind having him like that, because we haven't seen him in the film yet. Well, for Sweden at least. I don't know how it will look like, but this is kind of concept also. I don't mind that. And to be honest, it actually is well packed. And this is also, and smokestacks actually looks pretty good if they were secured. Yeah, the issue here is that the mushroom pig is a bit loose, which I will tighten it up a little bit, but man, it is unfortunate that it doesn't secure very well, and there's more of this siege disease kind of paint going on that looks a bit sloppy, but considering it's Mad Max looking, I don't mind. And of course the noggin, as I mentioned before, looks pretty nice, and it does look menacing, and well, hold on. Maybe if I bring up the figure here, and then there we go. Here we have an eyes. Yeah, perspective is right. Light pipe is garbage. You know that well. I'm gonna fucking paint that eye. But here's something that's also quite interesting, is that this front grille is literally made of rubber plastic, which, well, soft plastic, and I do feel it a little bit, well, bent over time and just degrading, but hey, c'est la vie. But here's actually, well, interesting with the old insignias that he has, like he's kind of killed some. If this guy doesn't scream kinky BDSM or a misogynist, I don't know what. I mean, he literally works for Unicron right now, so he is pretty much a slave for him. But as for the overall beforehand, there is a function that he has, is that you can remove this hand and you can store it back here just to secure the overall hand. It looks kind of done. Well, for a reason, because he comes with a gun. Well, arm cannon, which I do know that perspective and hate those, but for me, I don't mind. And it slots right in, and it actually has a slot here just to fit in like so, and it actually looks pretty badass, although it does limit the bend. And of course, put it in the ass. He can store the cannon up his ass. And now it actually looks a little bit more packed. What's even more interesting, that this cannon is literally sploosh compatible. Of course, he has a stand port here, which you can literally plug it up his ass, and now you can make him display in the air. But I won't do that, I'm just gonna leave it like so. But yeah, as for articulation, his head is on a ball joint up here, which you can look up that far and down that far, and side to side, yada yada. And he does have a hinge out that far, and of course he has the hot rod shoulders, which he can go up that far. And I do like that he actually moves out without the just being static like so. And of course, the shoulder panels stay in place. And of course, he has a butterfly joint just out backwards, but it still is for transformation. He has a bicep rotation, which I forgot to mention that Battletrap has as well. 90-degree band, no wrist swivel. Why? And of course, waist swivel. Oh, soft ratchet. Nice. And of course he can kick up that far, and I forgot to mention the tire details on the thighs. My god, I'm gonna paint that one. And of course he can kick up that far, and he do have a beautiful spread. Oh my god, I still have Jabby disease. And of course he has a squeaky. Well, 90-degree bend or over 90 degree, I don't know. But you can move about a little bit more, but that kind of bend the plastic, so I do not recommend that. And it has a more toe up down and toe down, and you also have maximum pivot and his toe. And oh yeah, his fingers can actually articulate. I forgot that kind of portion, which is made for holding Bumblebee. I know this bastard is not gonna die. So yeah, as you can see, Scourge is pretty basic, but he do pose very well. I do say that. I do wish there were more kind of possibility, considering this is a leader class figure, and due to inflation, they are not cheap. But I do appreciate what they look. I mean, this is literally a concept design, so I don't expect that much. I mean, what you see is what you get, basically. So as for size comparison, here we have them both next to Off-Road Bumblebee and Studio Series Bumblebee Optimus Prime, and I'm convinced this design is, the Rise of the Beast design is literally based off this goddamn design. This is just me. Here we have them next to Doomslayer, and here we have them next to Godzilla and King Ghidorah, which have a bit of a conflict between them, so we just leave them alone. But yeah, as for their robot modes, they do look pretty damn good. Gotta say, sure, there are some flaws that I do wish they were a little bit improved, but as for what they are right now, they're not that bad. As for transformation, let's kick in the royalty-free jazz and let's go for the speed-up transformation because I don't have much time. So here we have Battletrap and Scourge in their old modes, and I'm gonna say they are quite impressive. Not perfect, but they are still impressive nonetheless. For Battletrap, he is of course a licensed pickup truck, the GMC, and honestly I do love the kind of orange coloring with the gray, and of course the main storage just storing here to literally hold the overall hooks on the back. It just secured is very nice, but because when you remove it there is no secure connection, because in the promotional pictures there was supposed to be tabs like this one supposed to tap into this just to secure, but both are saying pretty much the same, just doesn't have that slot to tab them together just to secure the overall crane, which is a bit of a nitpick, and of course is a overall flaw. I'm gonna literally find a kind of plastic piece and just to secure them properly once the review is done. And of course, due to it, the overall transformation, of course the cable is literally sticking to his back, but considering he's a Terrorcon, I don't think he's literally care. But I also do think that these kind of cases should pretty much flip just so they literally stick out, but I don't think it's pretty much accurate to the pickup truck, and of course anything. But I do love that even though the translucent orange plastic is visible, and of course it's literally securing by the overall joint, which considering it literally is on a hinge and literally connected by a pin, which is almost cracking, which is a bit of a shame. But I do love that this orange plastic is literally a separate piece instead of paint, which I do appreciate. And of course, being a pickup truck, he rolls pretty well. Now for Scourge, I do gonna say it's a bit messy of a truck, but I do love this Mad Max looking kind of truck looking, and of course it just looks like Dark of the Moon Megatron, but even more kind of this Mad Max punk looking truck. I have no words how to describe it other than it looks absolutely badass. And for kind of smokestacks, that's even more Mad Max. You can literally depict this. Just imagine Scourge just being in Mad Max, and you would even raise an eyebrow of who he is. You just know this just straight up just ripped from a Mad Max movie. And that is why I love this truck mode. Even though the overall back section do look messy, however, considering it's a Terrorcon, I don't think he literally care at all. But I do love the integration of the wheels, which one of them is literally folded in and then just shoves out again, which is a nice integration instead of just being just the regular. I do love the integration, however it can be a little bit tricky to trying to push it in and out and kind of worry about breakage, but for as I'm literally experienced right now, it is pretty secured. That's what I gotta say. And I do love that it's literally these wheels literally accurate to a real life truck. It's literally like the Optimus Prime, like the flat nose truck, where the front looks different than the back wheels. And of course, just like any trucks, he rolls pretty well. Here's the underside, how they literally look like, and here we have them next to each other, and with Studio Series 100 Off-Road Bumblebee. And honestly, this is quite a good scale, considering they are literally from the same movie that is literally going to come out in June 9th. That review coming soon. And of course, I literally custom painted this Bumblebee, and honestly, it looks way better right now. Oh yeah, when you remove the rubber part for the front grille, you can literally see more of the insignias that he literally have. But strangely enough, there is no Predacon insignia that I see, other than the Terrorcon insignia and how many he literally have that he kills? Man, this guy is really a misogynist. Oh yeah, by the way, you can also equip the core class freezer just to have more of a kind of combining gimmick that they literally have. But I don't have it right now, but maybe in the future, if you subscribe and also like this video, I may review this guy. Maybe. So, to conclude this video, Battletrap and Scourge are very good figures, and I highly recommend that you pick them up if you are interested in them. Otherwise, they're easy skips if you don't feel like you want to collect these figures. It's completely fine. But I do highly recommend you pick these guys up, because they are actually well detailed, well posable, and actually do look pretty rad. Sorry for that cringe. They do look pretty awesome, and they look cool, and actually looks badass with the Mad Max kind of look to them, and they do look threatening. As far as the overall film, yet again, I have not seen the film yet. It's only 2 days left, and only then we will see how it's actually turned out. Well, maybe not that well, but better than the other sequels of Michael Bay Transformers films. That's the only answer I can give. But either way, I do see potentials. However, I do wish that they kind of had a little bit more possibility and some fixes with these guys, because again, there are some gaps that are a little bit big, and some possibility kind of a bit disappointing for some, and of course some QC issues, and kind of paint needs to be a little bit more applied and all that sort of stuff, and maybe it could have been a little bit more perfect. But as it is not that bad, and I do like having them in my collection. As for the kind of Maximals, I've not yet to decide if I want to get them, because let's be honest, Eraser is literally just a kind of this kingdom design with just longer legs, and a design that do look cool, but the bird mode looks off, and let's be honest, not accurate, and let's be honest, who knows if she actually gonna transform in the film. And Cheetor, as Perspective Enders called him, a snooze fest. But I do want him in my collection, but he needs a really hard paint job to look passable, which I do have paint, and I do, when I get him, he's gonna be customized to hell, because Jesus, I do not like the paint that they chose this guy. Couldn't they literally apply him with just yellow plastic? I don't get why they chose that plastic. But either way, for the Terrorcons in the Studio Series line, they are very solid figures nonetheless. And of course, I'm looking forward for the Rise of the Beast Studio Series and the main line Optimus Prime. I do want them in collection. Well, except for mainline Bumblebee, that one can rot in hell. But anyway, that's all I had to say. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you want to see more of these kind of style videos, then all you have to do is like this video, share it with others, and also comment down below what you think, and also subscribe as well. It will help support the channel, and of course it also helps that you hit the notification bell button when the next video is coming out. And if you want to support the channel even further, I have a Patreon. It's only $1. It's up to you if you want to support me there or not. It's completely optional. But anyway, I'm gonna stop talking and rambling right now. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a nice day. And remember, only time will tell what I'm gonna do next, and if the film is actually pretty good or not. But until then, I'll see you all then. Peace.